Give him hell! Time to end.
System failed.
How you like this? Time to end. hurt you.
Sorry, but you left me with no choice.
Hold on. Did you hear something?
Oh no, you don't.
Your fate is sealed. Good
Only a
night.
fool lets himself get surrounded. Did you hear something?
Not very impressive.
Hold on. Did you hear something?
That was some fancy shooting. You're pretty good.
Subject approaches. No, you must not look at me. Not like this. He who plants kind words grows a garden of friendship, and every day it becomes stronger. Every day a new spring. It has been a long time since I met one who saw past this husk of rags and bones to the queen whose soul remains captive inside. For I am Queen Irel, the dead Queen Irel of Murith. Unfortunately, I am not surprised. It is a punishment served by historians who find my fate to be a stain on the legacy of our people. To think that a person's entire existence can be brushed away with the stroke of a quill and the strum of a liar's tongue. I am a Droga. Drachkon's servants such as myself are despised for our loyalties, as we are thought to have betrayed man to aid the dragons. Neither tome nor song will sing my praises, if they sing for me at all. For the dead can suffer no greater wound, no harsher penalty than the hollows of empty silence. If you believe this to be the rim of sky and heaven, then your people have not ventured further north. In my time, this land was to the south, a land whose winter was far warmer than the summers in Admora. There were many who fled south to escape the war, but I led my people here because the crops tended to flourish in lands baked in the sun. Those who migrated here named this land Murith, in honor of the Mer who called it home. Our people learned to cooperate with the Mer, just as we did with the Dovra, the dragons whom we worshipped and served. Slowly we began to establish cities. Some might dare to call it a kingdom. It encompassed a small stretch of land along the Broken Cape, but the palace sat at its center like a great jewel. As I had led one of the original settlements, and had once trained to become a dragon priest, I was chosen as queen. We shared resources, knowledge, and to bridge this gap, I abandoned the old Medic tongue in order to ensure nothing would be lost in translation. Some considered it heresy, yet I knew that for both our races to survive in this cold and unforgiving land, we needed to work as partners. For our people, the spoken word is a powerful weapon. One that can lead an army. Yet by adopting another's word, I chose to lead by example. And it wasn't just for my own people. If I shed my pride and spoke the Elven tongue, perhaps they too would be willing to embrace our customs. A most tragic tale indeed. It was after the Night of Tears, when Ysgramor returned to Murith with 500 warriors in tow. My people no longer wanted peace. They wanted blood, even those who were steadfastly loyal to me crowned Ysgramor their leader and king. I was frustrated, angry. Were they blind to the truth? Did they learn nothing from the wars in Admora? Vengeance begets vengeance, and war never ends, not without the murder of an entire people, the death of 1,000 children who committed no crime. What I did for my people, so that history would not stain their hands in blood. I sought the old allegiances, the power of the Dovra. Alone, unguarded, I stole away to the lair of the frost dragon Cordinaus, perched atop a spire of stone on a snow-capped hill. I gave myself into his service, for a boon, to imbue Amur with the powers of frost, to give their people a chance to survive. You know not of our ways. To die in battle brings considerable esteem, but to die against a worthy foe, that is a great and unimpeachable honor. He was the Prince of Solstheim, and he was granted the power of ice and snow. There on that island to the east is what remained of the Snow Elf people, and where they would make their final stand. Imbued with a new strength, the prince rode into the Battle of the Mosring, where Ysgramor's armies marched through a field of crimson snow. They say he rode in on a horse of pure white, his armor and spear a beacon of hope in the dark terror of war. The Snow Prince. He swept through the Needs like a violent gale, felling them one by one in a storm of spears. Many great warriors died by his hand, and thus it was the cruelest irony for him to be slain by a child. She was a squire, a girl, mad with fury and grief for her mother, but still just a girl. So say the tales, but who knows how much is truth? What I do know is my pact with Cordinaus remained, for I am a Draugr, bound to serve even as my master is dead. The Draugr know words of power, but they are not lucid like you and I. They are mindless puppets, doomed to walk the earth as the undead. Some believe the Draugr are cannibals, for whom this existence is a penalty. Others believe they are thought cursed for betraying mankind. In truth, the Draugr are simply dead bones, brought to animation by the power of the Dovra, but not to life. Well, Quilon means bow, and Tilon means die. I would assume that the phrase means something like bow to me or die. means beg for mercy, but I cannot translate Malir. It is an insult so great that it has no words in the common tongue. Kren Sosal basically means, may your blood break. I suppose it's some sort of battle cry, though the wording is very clumsy. Ha! That one means, die horribly, slave. What an odd thing to say. Ah, it means eternal sorrow. Not an uncommon phrase in a land that knows little else. Do they really say that? Fear, stink, death. Goodness, is it only me, or am I the only Draugr with half a brain? Join the dead. So dreary. Am I right in guessing that all these phrases are said in the heat of battle? Well, Quilon means bow, and Tilon means die. I would assume that the phrase means something like bow to me or die. Yes, it's a very concise language, but I much rather prefer the elegance of the common tongue. The Draugr exist on but a whisper of life, granted by the word of a Dracon priest, who themselves were granted eternity by the Dovra. It is normally blasphemous for anyone not of the priesthood to use this tongue. But as queen, it was my duty to serve and speak for the Dovra gods. The same is true for my existence. I am not a Draugr bound to the will of any priest. I have been granted life and speech by a Dovra, a dragon. Yes, some would call it a blessing. How am I blessed? What sort of madman would call this anything but a curse? I can never again feel the warmth of another, or be able to reward that warmth with a smile. Not even the wind deigns to acknowledge my presence. It passes through my body like a cold shoulder. There is no greater jewel, no gem more precious in this world than an act of everyday kindness. Yet no amount of cajoling can change the truth. So while I thank you for your words, in my mind, they are as empty as I am. I do not know. Many Draugr who are slain rise again, but only because they are granted life by the priests they serve. The Dovra who imbued me with life was slain many centuries ago, and with him gone, perhaps I too can find any rest. Will you grant me this kindness, stranger? My body may resist, but my mind, my voice, it will not shout. I understand. Feel free to ask as many as you like, but I hope we can revisit this topic later. All that remains of who I am, my beauty, my fears, my heart, lies in this caricature of a human being. And it seems I myself am a poor caretaker of that legacy. When I look back at everything I was, from my flesh to my name, it feels like I am staring at a portrait of someone else's memories. Yes, have you considered what I said? Will you grant me the peace I desire? Thank you. You are both kind and merciful, and while I may be queen, I am humbled by your grace. The old Medic tradition says there is no greater honor than to die in battle, and that is my final request. That you slay me as you would any nameless Draugr, and that you forget that I was anything else. I beg you, forget you ever spoke to this rattle of bones, this ugly carcass, this foul, stinking corpse. I ask that you forget who I was, so that someday perhaps, in the great halls where all spirits are laid to rest, we can meet again, and you can know me for who I truly am. Goodbye, stranger, and thank you. May the wind forever be on your back, and kindness forever in your heart.
Nice job. Anything good?
I was always taught to avoid these types of ruins. I think I see why now.
I'm not someone to be trifled with.
No choice.